Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing alright out there. So if you're a fan of Andy Weir, the writer of The Martian, or the film itself, The Martian, you'll be interested in this one. Next year, a movie's coming out called Project Hail Mary, which is another Andy Weir book. Now I've just finished listening to the audiobook of Project Hail Mary, and it was brilliant. Really good. Such a cool, interesting, different idea. I'm not going to give any spoilers here. It is a space, related movie. It's sci-fi more than The Martian, but I think it was absolutely fantastic. This is the audiobook. Now the trailers are already out for this movie, but I don't believe it's coming out until 2026. How they, translate some of the stuff from the story, because that's going to be difficult, because the audiobook is 16 hours long, and it needs to be 16 hours long to really go through the process of what they do. So to reduce this down to a movie, I am mildly scared they're going to, miss a lot of it. But equally, as they say, a picture can say 1,000 words. So you can get rid of a lot of the explaining of the situation by just seeing it. So as I say, my prediction is it's going to be an outstanding movie. Now, without giving away any spoilers, one of the characters in this movie is going to be very, very likeable and could possibly be considered cute depending on how they do it. Certainly a very good spirit, if you know what I mean. And I can already tell within weeks of this movie coming out, there'll be STLs to print a copy, a model of this character. I'm going to print one because it's such a nice change to have something that's not combative, and it's educational, and it's more realistic to what would probably happen in certain scenarios. Obviously the science of the book there's a lot of science, and it's all pretty damn good accurate. Yeah, there's a few things where you've had to throw disbelief away to make the entire idea kind of work, but fundamentally a lot of it is true. It's also one of those books that kind of tells the story from two positions at the same time and jumps backwards and forwards to explain parts of what's going on throughout the movie. You get to learn more. There's an intrigue throughout it to find answers to why what's happening, and lots of things around that. Now, after I finished listening to the audiobook, I watched a couple of reviews of what people thought of the book, and I have to say, one or two of them really didn't get the point of these books. I think they wanted them to be more action-based, and I think that's one of the reasons some people didn't like The Martian, is they expected it to be an action movie, and as you know, it's got a couple of action scenes throughout the movie, not a lot. It's mostly about science and problems and solutions, and this movie's going to be more like that in ways. There is going to be a big dramatic action scene, sure, but the main thing this movie is about the science and about exploring the ideas and things like that. And that's something that I absolutely love. That's why I loved it so much, because it is so science-based. And I'm a massive nerd. I love hearing a story that doesn't just come up with stuff that's complete rubbish or completely unbelievable, that constantly pulls you out of it. Like, when they mess around with physics in movies, unless it's like a superhero film or something like that, it gets really annoying for me, and it just pulls me out of the film. And as I say, if they stick to the real hard sciencey side of it, the problem solving, and to the extent that they do in the book, I don't think it's going to appeal to a mass audience the way that they would want it to. Thus, they're going to have to tone it down somewhat and make it more of a story, but there is enough there, I think, to make a great movie if it's done right. Or if it's been done right, should we say, because it's already made as far as I know. The reason I'm talking about this is because very, very rarely does a movie come out that I'm like, I really want to see this. And I mean really rarely does that happen. Like, the original Deadpool, I really wanted to see that because it was such a cool idea. The Martian, again, I really wanted to see that because I'd read the book. Well, sorry, I've listened to the audiobook. I haven't read it. I know that's the thing. I did ask this question on X a while ago, and people do believe that you can say that if you've listened to the ebook of a book, you've read it. But I don't agree with you, because I think you're using different parts of your brain as you're doing that, and the visualizations may be slightly different, because that's the point. When you read it with your eyes, it's very different to when it's being told to you. you can zone in and out of when it's being told to you. You can't zone in and out of reading, really, because it's just going to break down the process of reading. Now, it's not to say you can't get as much out of an audiobook as you can from reading a book. In fact, I think if the audiobook is read by a good person, it can really, really help you understand the story. Especially if they're doing different voices for different characters. It helps you separate who people are rather than trying to remember the name of the person each time. That's it's one of the things I always get problems with. I'm like, sorry, who was that person again? What? But I just don't think you can call it reading, because reading to me has a meaning, and listening has a meaning, and you're not reading, you're listening. So yeah, that's just my view on it. I'm not trying to cause an argument over this one. Going back to what I was saying earlier on about some of the criticism people had for this book, they basically said, well, it's very similar in ways to The Martian, and can this guy not write a different type of book? And I'm like, well, the guy writes the type of book that no one else does, as far as I know, so of course it's going to be similar in that way. Okay, the scenario could be changed a little bit more, sure, but it isn't the same. It's a very different movie, or should say, it's a very different story. So I think that's a little bit of a case that I don't quite get it. But that's fine, we all take something different from these things. Anyway, have you listened to the book, read the book? What do you think of Project Hail Mary? I'd love to know what your thoughts on it are. Please don't try and give any spoilers down in the comments for people who haven't seen the movie. I'm not saying anything, as you can tell. I'm trying to keep back. There's a lot you can pick up from if you watch the trailer, that you might be able to pick out some of the stuff I've said against. But, I've tried to keep this completely spoiler-free. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to help support me, please consider doing that through Patreon, YouTube memberships, or the PayPal button. All can be found down in the description below. Till the next one, bye bye.